but the height of competition, the height of excellence in the sport in Patrick Mahomes, to whatever the hell happened over the weekend with the NBA, and you're talking about guys with competitive fire, and I keep looking at this, and I do want to get into San Francisco because we're going to host the All-Star Game next year. 1 year from now, San Francisco, Chase Center, the Warriors, Joe Lacob, they are hosting the All-Star Game, and there's a San Francisco conversation that I want to have, a Bay Area conversation, but I'm looking at the height of competition, and I do not expect the All-Star Game, FP, to replicate the Super Bowl. I'm not here looking for that. But on some level, can we have some competitive pride? Can we have some
absolutely incredible,
just some basic competitive fire? I'm watching the skills competition. I'm going to start there because Steph and Sabrina, what they did and what Steph did, that's to me is a microcosm of what's killing the league right now. What Steph did contrasted with what no one else is willing to do. Steph puts himself out there, whether win or lose. He's participated in a three-point shootout many times. He's won it. He's lost it. He went up against Sabrina. He could have easily lost. Okay, easily could have lost because she's excellent, and it was amazing. And it was the premier moment in the entire All-Star weekend. But I'm blown away at how few guys want to compete like Steph. And it's not just compete, are willing to put themselves out there and just lose for the betterment of the sport and to go back to competing in the backyard. You know, like FP, like you and I, if you and I right now went and had a basketball and we were going down to Parkside and we're shooting buckets, I'm sorry, I'm going to try to beat you in horse just because that's who I am. Like if the ball is getting thrown up, I'm ready to win. And I don't see that from these NBA players right now. And I think it's killing the league.
Dude, my grandmother, God rest her soul, and I used to play cards till 2 a.m. all the time when I would see her. And we would compete. I mean, I'm talking about like you have a game, I'm competing.
Yes.
So point is, I want to beat my grandmother every night in cards.
Absolutely.
So when I watch this, there's a Fred Durst song with Limp Bizkit. Like it's called Rollin', Rollin', Rollin'.
Yeah.
And there's a line in there that says, if you don't care, then we don't care. That's the NBA All-Star Game to me. If they don't care, I don't care. So doing the show with you, we're doing it Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday together today, Tuesday and Wednesday. Super excited. I'm going to watch and lock in, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to lock in so we could talk about the NBA. I turned it off at halftime.
It was garbage.
Because they're just not trying.
No.
And I understand agents are getting involved and like, Joe, be careful. You can't blow out your knee. This is your year. It's your contract
Totally
year,
get it.
and blah, blah, blah. But like, they play pickup games in the winter in gyms together. And now you're on a national stage. You're trying to promote your sport. And you're playing on a court that's like Nickelodeon. And it's like someone's going to get slimed if they dunk. And that's a whole nother story. But they're just not trying. So the Pro Bowl's flag football now.
Yeah.
The All-Star Game in baseball, they're wearing different uniforms, and I don't even know what team these guys are on anymore. And my favorite part about the All-Star Game is that when they introduced you and they come out to the first and third baselines, checking all the unis.
Totally agree.
Like, oh my God, look
the
at
pomp and circumstance.
Look at the Expos clown unis. These are awesome, and they're wearing different.
I love the Expos unis.
Yeah, so I mean, and now they're all wearing the same unis, and you have to like zoom in on their hats
to see the logo. Yeah,
but I mean, they're still going to compete.
Yes.
Guys are still throwing 100.
Well, when Camilo Duvall comes in to face, let's just say Mike Trout, both guys are trying to literally win in the moment.
It's called professional pride.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm a professional, and you're not going to embarrass me.
Thank you.
So yeah, I don't want to get too negative, but
but I think this is a microcosm for where the NBA is at. 30 million people. I can't believe this number. Now, I understand there's cord cutting. 30 million people watched the All-Star Game in 1993. 30 million. I mean, that's like a playoff number here in the Bay Area. Like, that's crazy. So I'm looking at what they're, and we're going to get the overnight numbers on television viewership, and I get it. Like, it's not for Joe Shasky, the 41-year-old. I understand that. I acknowledge it's for little Mikey G, who's 12 years old at home playing Fortnite in one hand and, got the Palm, whatever, the iPad in the other hand. Like, I get all that. I do understand that. But on some level, I'm coaching youth basketball. FP, to get a kid to buy in to play defense is like you're asking them, some foreign language. And it's because they see and they replicate what the professionals are doing. And when they don't care, it trickles down. All of these kids I see now, everything's I got to have the ball in my hand, right? I got to do this. I call it hot sauce, TikToking. All the trainer videos, everybody working, balls in their hand. Nobody's playing defense. Nobody's boxing out. Nobody's setting screens. And I'm not asking the NBA All-Star Game to be on the level of competition of what the Super Bowl is. But can you crank it up a little?
Compete.
A little?
Maybe compete, and there shouldn't be stakes out there. There shouldn't be like if you win, you get this. It's called professional pride. Do I expect Steph Curry to take a charge in the NBA All-Star game? No. Do I expect them to like run over each other and you go out for a layup and you Bill Laimbeer somebody? That doesn't happen anymore in sports. But just like go out there and like, there's a way to do it.
Yes.
There's a 80% way to do it. There's loafing to first base and you're jogging down the line, or you go 80% and not one fan could tell between 80% and 100%. Not one fan will be like, oh, look at Shasky like loafing to first. He's only going 80%. 80% looks like 100%. Like, so in that regard, I don't know. And the 3-point shooting contest isn't that without Steph.
Agreed.
The dunk contest
is horrible. Let's just call it what it is.
Unless there's superstars in it. Michael Jordan, Dominique Wilkins, like you name all the guys, Spud Webb, like back in the day
Vince Carter.
Yeah, and there were some great dunks. I mean, but I don't know. I guess it's a celebration. They would tell you it's a celebration of the league, and the whole weekend is a celebration of the league. But when you have like moving circles and they're bounce passing into it, I watched it, Joe, because I'm doing a show with you for 3 days. I used to love the NBA. Not that anybody cares driving to work today on President's Day. I don't know if you are working today. That sucks, but whatever. I used to love the Showtime Lakers. I'm from Michigan. My mom went to University of Michigan. Even though Magic went to Michigan State, I followed his career from when he was in high school at Sexton and Everett, and he transferred, and it was a big deal. Then he went to Michigan State, and when they beat Larry Bird in the NBA championship, and he was doing alley-oops to Greg Kelser. It was awesome. So I followed his career and became like a closet Laker fan. And when they played, they competed. It wasn't about endorsements. It wasn't about commercials. It was about beating your ass.
Yes.
And that's all they cared about was beating your ass. And it was more of a team thing. And it was hardcore, and they hated each other. And I know I'm sounding old right now, and they're like, Jesus, FP, get off my long radio. But no, they competed, and they cared, and they had pride. Whether it was an all-star game, whether it was Lakers versus Celtics, whether it was Bulls versus Pistons, like there was rivalries there, and they competed. Whether it was the all-star game, whether it was a dunk contest. Like basketball was my favorite sport growing up. I played basketball. I played more basketball than I played any other sport. Baseball, football, track, whatever I did, I played basketball. And we would emulate these guys. In the NBA, I couldn't wait to turn on an NBA game. Now, if we didn't have the Golden State Warriors and Steph Curry and Draymond and Clay and all the championships, I don't know how invested I would be in the NBA at all. If we were just in a city that had a team, I just don't think it has it. Is there tremendous talent? Amazing. Is there athletes that are unbelievable? Of course. But whatever they're selling, Joe, and maybe you can help me articulate this better, I'm not really buying at the moment.
No, it's a really good point.